Hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now this is my second time filming this video because I messed the first one up. So I apologise if it seemed like I'm going a bit quick at the start. I only got halfway through it, to be fair, before I bottled it. But before we get started on the video at hand today, a quick bit of promotion. There are some links in the description. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter and just see me talk about random stuff, feel free to go follow me on that. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, my link to my Instagram is there as well, where I've been doing some movie polls and stuff like that. What else is there? There's also my podcast, so if you want to hear me talk about more movies in more detail, because they're longer, with my friend Ryan, so there's a bit of company there in that one as well. Feel free to check out that. There's also a link to our Facebook page, and then there's my Patreon. If you like these videos, you like what you're seeing here, and you want to see more, feel free to go over to my Patreon. I've got one video up there already on my Jon Favreau movie ranking. And I'm also planning on doing another one very soon this week. So to my Patreon members, here we go. This is what you're going to get next on there. To anyone who wants to go follow me on there, this is what you're going to get. A Game of Thrones series ranking. So that'll be very interesting. So that's going up on my Patreon early this week as well. So links to all that is in the description. But let's get on to the topic of hand today. Today we're talking about these two things. We're talking about Alien, Predator, the prequels to Aliens, and the crossovers, so the Alien vs Predator films. So I believe there's 12 movies here to rank, so I'm going to get on with this pretty quick. I own them all because they're all pretty much come in box sets or whatever, other than the last one, the one that's coming in last place, because I hated the film so much I couldn't buy it. So let's get started. So coming in last place, the one I don't own is Predator? Is it The Predator? Predator? I think it's The Predator, the one from 2018, which is an absolutely horrific piece of shit. And I don't really understand how anyone could like this movie. I question as to how much you like movies if you say you like this film. This film is terrible and it doesn't work on any level. And it's a real shame because it's directed by Shane Black, who's an amazing director. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, nice guys. Hey, even Iron Man 3 is consistent enough. It's just... everything about this film sucks. The script is embarrassing. The story is hilarious. So the alien, or the Predator, comes to Earth for autism. That's the story. That's really what he comes to Earth for. The characters are awful. The humour is embarrassing. The effects are terrible. The pacing is ridiculously bad. Everything about this film honestly sucks. I can't tell you a single thing I like about it. There's one scene I like where this Predator that looks really cool breaks out of a lab. He kills a load of people and it's great. And then about 2 minutes later, a giant, ugly, CGI, horrible Predator kills him. And we're stuck with this bigger, badder, and shitter Predator, which just looks terrible. Everything from this film, from start to finish, every decision they made is bad. The Predator dogs were terrible. There's a robot suit that comes out at the end, and that's one of the few times I've actually laughed in the cinema. For those of you who have seen it, when he gets the Predator suit comes out, I remember because a big box opens up at the end of the film, so it's coming out slowly, and I got really excited. I thought, oh my god, maybe it's going to be an alien egg. Maybe we're going to get another crossover, which will redeem this piece of shit movie. But no, a robot suit comes flying out, latches on someone. There's a robot Predator suit. Because they've seen what Marvel are doing, and they want to see Predators fighting a robot Predator superhero suit guy. And the guy, someone goes, what is that? And then the lead character goes, that's my new suit. And I laughed out loud in the cinema. I thought it was hilarious. So, The Predator 2018, it sucks. It's a terrible movie and I hate it. Okay, next is one of the crossover films. So I got them in a double pack here, so I'm going to be holding this up twice. I'm going with Alien vs Predator 2, Requiem as my next pick. This film is also horrible. This film is terrible. It's on the same level of The Predator, honestly. It's just embarrassingly awful. I hate everything about it. There are no likeable characters. It doesn't really focus on one character in this film. It flip-flops you between like 3 different groups. You never know which one to connect with. And the character who I honestly thought I was meant to connect with ends up dying at the end. And then the other group get away. This film is so dark you can barely see anything. There are some scenes which are just not nice to watch, like when the alien goes into the hospital and there's all those pregnant women. You know what I'm on about. Mixing up a predator and an alien was just felt over the top to me. I hate this movie. This movie is terrible, and it's such a shame. The town itself is such a dull setting to have aliens and predators in. Why not go to one of their planets? Make it more fun and exciting. Why are we in this little town in America? Everything about the film sucks. Another bad film. We'll get to some good ones in a minute, people, I promise. Okay, next up. Alien Resurrection. This is the 4th Alien movie. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about Alien 3 while speaking about this one, because I know people really hate Alien 3. And don't worry, we'll get there. I'm not a big fan of that one either. But this one, and I know that people hate Alien 3 because it takes everything that happened in Aliens, the second one, and chucks it out the window. And this one does the exact same thing. Just the difference is Alien 3, as we'll speak about in a minute, actually, if you can get past that, it's entertaining. If you can get past that in this one, it's not. This film just brings Ripley back instantly in a terrible way. Cloning. It's such a cop-out. I'm not a big fan when films bring back main characters as clones. Main characters. Like, a good example would be the Emperor in Star Wars. Why have they done... It's just... It feels like such a cop-out by making them a clone. Because it was a clone if you do your research. Anyway, I'm not getting into the Rise of Skywalker here. This film just falls apart so much. None of the characters are interesting. They feel like comic book characters, like comedic ones, and they're not even funny. There's one cool bit in this one. I like it when the aliens are going through the water. I think that works really well. I'll give it to them on trying to create new aliens, because they do create a new alien in this one. You've got that weird hybrid thing. But it looks so weird and I just don't like it. It looks ugly. Yeah, it's about the best I can do for that one. It's pretty bad. It's not as bad as the other two we just spoke about, but it's a pretty bad movie. Okay, coming up next. The latest, and maybe last for a long time, Alien movie. This is Covenant. This is the biggest cop-out of this franchise. Prometheus was different and quirky, and I thought a very good cinematic film, but the general public didn't like it. And I am going to compare this film, or Prometheus, to The Last Jedi. I think they're very similar in the fact that they are creative and they are going above expectations, and the general public didn't like it very much. So then Ridley Scott and Lucasfilm and The Last Jedi completely bottled it on the follow-up, and they tried to give people a film that they thought they wanted, and they actually made a very messy movie, like The Rise of Skywalker and Alien Covenant. These films are completely made for the fans, but they're so messy and lifeless and boring that they're not that interesting to watch. I was very disappointed by this movie. I remember seeing a 5-minute clip they released before this film. We had Danny McBride in it, and of course Michael Fassbender, who's amazing in this, and Prometheus, and James Franco. And then it weren't going to be in the film. Film actually starts, James Franco is dead instantly. It's quite hilarious. Danny McBride is maybe the only interesting one in this, because I like Danny McBride. I think he's a charismatic, fun actor. The lead characters in this are just not as fun as the ones in Prometheus, and it's really strange because the one in Prometheus didn't die in Prometheus. They kill her off screen in this film. I don't get it. I don't get this film at all. There are decisions made in this which it just don't make sense to me. This is a cop-out movie. It almost feels like a fan film at times. And it's such a shame because Ridley Scott had a good return to this franchise for me. He was pushing expectations, as we'll talk about when we get to Prometheus, but what did he do there? Okay, next up. Next up is the one which a lot of people want to see me hate on, probably, because I know a lot of people really hate this movie, and it's Aliens 3. Let me give you a bit of background on me with the aliens, because this is why I don't absolutely hate this movie like some people. I was very late to Aliens. I only watched them all back to back for the first time about 5-6 years ago. I can imagine at the time, after watching Aliens, the second one, you're waiting for a follow-up, and then the follow-up comes out and it kills off 2 of your 3 survivors instantly. I can imagine being very annoyed. I didn't have that. I watched these films all back to back, so I put this one on probably the day after I watched Aliens. You know, I watched them all back to back. And I remember being annoyed at first. I was like, that's a bit crap. And then the film got going, and it is a pretty mediocre first 45 minutes, first 2 acts. But the back half of the film I found quite entertaining. It's a fun film. The characters are okay in this movie. They're better than all the ones in the films we just talked about. I was always a bit confused why they killed Charles Dance off so quick, because they were really building him up to be a main side character, and he died really quick. So there are some real issues with this film. They shouldn't have killed Ripley at the end, because they knew they were going to do another one if it made money, and they did another one. They wrecked it even more. It's an okay film, I think. It's an okay film if you can get past the really dumb decision in the first 5 minutes. Next up is going to be the first Alien vs Predator movie. This is a film which should have been so much better. I don't know why we didn't go to an alien or a predator planet, or just another planet in general. But seeing the aliens and the predators fight were really cool in this one. I suppose the whole ritual thing kind of works well. I just wish it wasn't on Earth. Human characters are a bit annoying. I don't really like any of the human characters in this one, if I'm being honest. They're all pretty boring. But it's cool. I kind of like the fact that they made the Predator the good guy. I was kind of rooting for the Predator most of the time in that film. It's mindless, stupid fun, that film. There's nothing that great about it, but if you want to have a good time and switch off, it's a good choice. Okay, next up is Predators 2, or Predator 2. I don't really have much to say on this one. I always kind of forget about this one. It's a little bit of a forgettable movie. But Predators are now in a city instead of the jungle. There's a few of them this time. That's about all I got to say. I suppose the lead characters are a lot better than all of these films we've spoke about. This is probably where the characters actually get good for me in these films. They're not generic. It's cool. The Predators look great. The action's good. The pacing's fun. It's just a good movie. But kind of a forgettable one. Next up is Predators from 2010. I'm pretty sure it's from 2010. Now, this is a really underrated movie. No one ever seems to talk about this one. And it's actually quite a good movie. I really love that we're finally on a predator planet and the predators are hunting them on their own planet. It's like, thank you. Thank you. The characters in this, a lot of them are stereotypes and a lot of them are very undeveloped. But the main ones are pretty interesting. I like the lead actor in it, the lead actress. It's just a fun time. It's just a fun time. The Predators look good. It's an interesting movie. That's the thing about this one. It's actually interesting. They went different. They went in a normal direction, a sensible direction. And it was a good movie. Next up, so we've only got 4 films left to talk about here. Next up is going to be Prometheus. Yes, this is the return to the Alien franchise after quite a few years, with Mr. Ridley Scott returning. You know, he only ever done the original Alien film. Now he's back. And I'm a bit confused as to why people hated this film, because I thought it was really good, really clever. And it was just interesting. And there were some really fascinating decisions made in this film. Visually, it's stunning. This might actually be the best looking film here we have to talk about today. It's stunning. It's beautiful. I love the new aliens and the new creature designs in this film. The characters in this work really well. You do really get behind a lot of them. And I like that the alien doesn't show up till the end. It is a prequel. And it's not even a proper alien at the end. I don't want to see the alien straight away and force down our throats. And I don't get me wrong. Covenant, yeah. I was expecting to see an alien, just not as much as we got. This film is very entertaining. I like it a lot. I think it gets a bad rap. It's a good movie. Okay, 3 left. The obvious 3 to be in the top 3 here. So we got the first 2 Alien films and the Predator left. Or Predator, not the Predator. Jesus. So top 3, this is pretty much set in stone for me and a lot of people, I think. Just what order do you put them in? Well, this is the order I've gone with. Number 3 is Predator. The original, the first, the Arnold Schwarzenegger film. I've got a big poster of it on my wall. Only because I love the poster. I do like Predator a lot, though. This is a really good film. It's one of those classic 80s films where there's a lot of fun music in it. The action is so over the top. The pacing is really quick. There's just shots of, like, Arnie and that guy gripping arms and tensing up. And it's a classic 80s movie. It's fun. And the Predator, you know, this is the first time we saw the Predator, so you got to look at it like that. And they look awesome. They look so cool. You really get to know all the characters here as well. This little squad that you're with. It's just a really good time, and you are caring about these characters, and by the end you are really hoping that none of them are gonna die, and it's a crazy ride, but a really good one. Okay, number 2. Here we go. The one that started it all. Alien. This is the original Ridley Scott. This is the one that started all of this. I mean, we still probably would have got the Predator film. But, you know, this is the first one that came out. This was 1979? Is it 79? This film it's incredible. It really is. It's just tension. The tension in this film is off the scale. It's insane. If you're claustrophobic, you're going to have a hard time with this one. The alien is great because you barely see it. The gore is on another level for the year it came out. It's insane. And it feels like a real outer space film if we ever got that far where we would discover other life. It feels like, yeah, this is how quickly things could go wrong. It's so good. The lead characters in it are fantastic. Ripley is one of the best characters ever created. This film is great, and I love this tagline. No one can hear you scream. Or in space, no one can hear you scream. I missed a word out there, sorry. I think that's fantastic. This film is insanely good. I love it. Coming in number 1 for me, though. Personally, I know a lot of people would put that number 1, but I'm going to go with the follow-up to it, Aliens. So this is the James Cameron sequel. James Cameron was so great at making sequels once upon a time, you know, with this and T2. Tagline on this one isn't as great. This time it's war. But it is, because the first one had 1 alien, and this one has got hundreds. Hundreds. You get to see the Queen, which is super cool. And the characters in this one are even better in terms of the squad that you get to know. The pacing is incredible. I love everything about this film. The score is great. I love everything about this movie. I think it is so damn near perfection. I can watch it anytime, any mood. And don't the aliens just look amazing in this one? They look so good. I love this movie. Absolutely love it. There's no doubt in my mind that this would be my favourite. So there is my Aliens and Predator ranking. If you want to see me talk about them more, episode 9 of my podcast, Off to the Movies with my friend Ryan, we went over all these films in more detail. So if you want to hear us talk about them, go check that out. As I say, if you want to see more videos like this one, they are available on my Patreon, so go subscribe to that. I'd be forever grateful. But that is it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it as always. Don't forget, live stream Tuesday while we're all in lockdown. I'm going to keep doing them every Tuesday. So make sure you're there for them. They're great fun. I love doing them. But that is it for this video, guys, as always. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye-bye.